Alright. Hey, welcome everyone to a new video, a new vlog in this case, about FOSDEM, the Open Source Developers Conference, which is held every year in Brussels. FOSDEM is a place where people come to exchange ideas about open source software. They discuss software packages, they discuss what they are maintaining, they try to find collaborators for their projects, and it's held every year in Brussels, specifically on the university campus. This is already one of the cooler things. So it attracts around 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 people. There is no entry. In fact, you don't even have to register. You just walk onto the campus and you're part of the conference. One thing I normally like to go to is the developer rooms, which were quite packed this year. And I was specifically interested in the robotics and simulation developer room. This is a room which my friends started last year with a half-day program, and this year they had a full-day program. We still had the same room as last year, which was completely packed. I volunteered to be a bouncer for a while, and I had to refuse quite a lot of people entry, unfortunately. So sorry about that. In the robotics and simulation room, a lot of people discussed their approaches to building robots, which they either do professionally or in their spare time. People discussed packages they made either for the robot operating system, which was quite a big topic, or for some of the alternatives they were maintaining. Specifically interesting were, for example, a talk where someone showed how you can land your drone on a Ruka marker. And I specifically loved this talk from the maintainer of Plot Juggler, where he asked everyone who is using Plot Juggler to go stand up. And he basically played the evil villain in a Bond movie, asking his minions to say how much they liked Plot Juggler. And that was quite fun.
Make Plot Juggler unique! So, again! Yes! Yes! Sorry.
One thing I really like about FOSDEM is the collaborative spirit. And it happened quite often that during a presentation or talk in the robotics dev room, someone would mention a new tool or feature, or would say, oh, you should try this out. And then someone would raise their hand and say, oh, actually, that's me, I made this feature. So that's quite cool. I also gave a talk, by the way. So I gave a talk together with Sam about the data quality in robotics. You can re-watch this presentation if you're interested. I will put a link in the description. And we wanted to explain what things you should pay attention to when you're setting up your data collection on your robot. And we gave a couple of practical tips in terms of open source software you can use to improve this, and just some tips in general which you should try to follow when you're setting up your robot. So besides the dev rooms, there's always quite a couple of stands at FOSDEM. So for example, there will be people selling their open source software, for example, Linux distributions. So you can ask questions about why should I use this software, or you can maybe ask for features, or maybe you can volunteer to help out maintaining the software. Sometimes you can donate money, sometimes you can buy swag, sometimes they just give things away, like stickers or other goodies. So yeah, I sponsored a couple of projects, I got some stickers, that was quite fun. There's also people who are just enthusiastic about things. So for example, someone explained to us for 10 minutes how to work with amateur radio. So that's quite interesting. I learned a lot. This project I also liked. There was this open source. There was an open source telescope where you could 3D print the whole body, and then the only thing you had to add was the lens, which is, I guess, the most expensive part. So this was the second year I went to FOSDEM. One of the topics which stood out more this year than it did other years was getting rid of big tech. So this is already a quite big topic, but now people were getting a bit afraid of the political situation in America. So more and more people tried to come up with alternatives to existing software. So yeah, if you're interested in this as well, why don't you leave in the comments what big tech you are dependent of and want to get rid of, or if you have found any open source packages or software which you can recommend to people to replace any of the big tech software in their lives. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.